Good morning, it's Jackie from Phoenix Coaching. It is July 8th, 2020, and this is your mindful moment for today. So, I don't know what's going on, but this week I'm just all discombobulated. My days are all mixed up. Is that happening to you too? I mean, I think there was a full moon and there's COVID and it's hot, and we could probably make a million excuses, but for whatever reason, I'm kind of discombobulated this week, and my timing is weird. So this morning, I've got a couple of kind of big things that have been shifting or percolating for me in the last little while, and I wanted to share them with you. So I'm going to try to get you a good angle on this, and it's kind of tricky. Can you see those plants that are down there by the fence? Okay, so those are hostas. So a few weeks ago, that particular part of the yard was full of little tiny trees, and they're spiky and awful. Like, they're just nasty. They'll bite you. They will bite you. Anyway, so it was full of all this crap and weeds and whatever. So I went down there one weekend and I dug up a whole lot of stuff, and I got, it was a job. It was a real job. And then once it was all dug up and cleaned out, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do with this? So I transplanted the hostas that were kind of all around the backyard into this particular area. So hostas do really well. They're a very, what's that word? Hardy plant. They're a very hardy plant. And they do really well pretty much in all sorts of environments, but shady spots they do well in. So it was really the perfect spot to put them. And a friend came over after this was all done, and we were going around the yard, and I was showing her some of the stuff that I've been working on, and she thought, oh, this looks really good. She had no idea what it looked like before, and it does look really good, trust me. Anyway, so we were talking about the hostas, and I said to her, I'm not really expecting they're going to bloom this year because they've been transplanted. So here's the thing that happens when you transplant. There's like this central plant with a hosta, and so you have to, of course, dig it up, but you break it into pieces. And so that was probably 3 big plants, I'm going to say, and I broke them into little pieces so that I could fit them in a row along this side yard. And so they have been really rather traumatized in this process, right? You dig them up, you cut them up, and then you plant them again. So there's a trauma that's happened to the plant in the process. And so I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, so interesting to me how in nature we are in complete allowance that something has been through a trauma, and it's going to take some time to recover and recuperate before we expect it to be back to sort of full force, full life. And so we're expecting this to take a year for these things to recover. It might take longer, but I expect next year they're going to be just fine. How interesting that we are so in allowance of that in nature, and yet when we go through something, we can be so hard on ourselves for not being back on our feet and at 100% really very quickly. How interesting that we find it difficult to give ourselves the same allowance and the same time as we can give nature. It's just something to think about, something I'm thinking about and have been for a few days. The other thing, so I got new glasses a couple of years ago. I really loved them. They had the blue frames. I really loved them. But what happens over time with glasses these days, they put all these coatings on, and if you've ever worn glasses, you probably are going to understand what I'm talking about. Over time, those coatings break down, and so eventually you're looking through this sort of scratched up mess, and they're not clear. It's sort of foggy, and it's hard to see. It's hard to see because you're looking through something that is not clear. And so I've been thinking for the last several months, well, I really need to go and get myself some new glasses because these lenses are pretty badly damaged at this point, and need to get some new glasses. And on the weekend, I remembered that when I bought those glasses, I actually bought a second pair that I've almost not worn at all. And so I went and I found them and I put them on, and I gotta tell you, what a difference. What a difference. I put them on and I could see clearly for the first time in several months. And it makes me think about our perspective, right? When you're trying to see things through lenses that are not clear, they look very differently than they do when you can see them because the lenses are clear. Like, it's so interesting. I'm having all these crazy deep thoughts, in this week where my timing is all discombobulated. It's kind of fun, right? So, yeah, we've got a heat warning here in London. I'm sitting in the shade with Mr. Riley at my feet and thinking about these deep thoughts. So I'm Jackie from Phoenix Coaching. That is your mindful moment for today. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. And I will see you tomorrow.